Hey everyone, and welcome back. In my last video I showed you how to overseed with fescue and rye here in the Atlanta area for the fall. It's been about 3 weeks since that first application, and the seed is germinated and the grass is growing great. But here's the thing, you usually see some spots or areas that didn't take as well. Or in my case, the grass isn't really thick enough, at least not as thick as I want it to be. That's why today I'm going to do a second application of the seed to really thicken up the lawn. After your first overseeding, it's totally normal to have bare spots or uneven coverage. Maybe the soil was too compact, maybe the seed got washed away, or maybe the watering wasn't perfectly even. The second overseeding pass is the best way to fill in those gaps and create a more uniform carpet-like lawn. For the second application, I'm using the same seed blend, a mix of fescue for long-term structure and rye for quick coverage. The rye will fill in fast and the fescue will keep building the base. Here's a look at the same area 3 weeks ago, right after I prepared it with leveling soil and overseeded. You can see the seed laying on top. I gave the area a good watering every day for the first 2 weeks, and then every other day for the last week. The rye came in fast and green, but I want to thicken it up a little bit. You're going to want to start by mowing the lawn short. I cut mine about 2 inches. This is the first time I've cut it since I overseeded 3 weeks ago. I wanted to let it grow and get a good strong root base before I put the mower to it. And you're going to want to bag your clippings as well. You don't want those clippings laying on top of the grass when you seed it, because when you water it, those clippings are going to lay flat way down the new grass. Now, young ryegrass looks fragile and lays flat when it gets stepped on. But don't worry, it bounces back. However, you don't want to put it in a high traffic area because it won't stand up really well to heavy wear. And that's why I use a mix of rye and fescue. The rye is really nice looking and very soft. It makes a really nice yard, but the fescue, when it comes in, is a hardy grass and can stand up to kids playing on it and dogs cutting up on it. And the fescue will overtake the rye once it grows in, but if you want that rye look again, just cut the fescue short, overseed with some rye, and within a week, it'll sprout and grow again and you'll have that rye look within the fescue grass. Now, I've just got 2 small areas in my backyard where I put the fescue and rye mix. The rest of my backyard is zoysia. I've been thinking about replacing the whole lawn with fescue, but I haven't yet made up my mind. So for now, I'm just doing these 2 small areas, and I love the way these areas stay green all the way through December and don't start browning until January when it gets pretty cold here. But then mid-February, they'll start greening up again and looking great for the spring. Now in this area, you can see some of the spots where the grass isn't that thick. You can see that sandy leveling soil through the grass. So what I want to do is I want to get this area thick where you won't be able to see any of that. It'll just be a nice lush green area. Again, here's a video from 3 weeks ago when I got done overseeding this area. I had the leveling soil all leveled out and the seed on top and then watered it in, same as the other one. Every day for 2 weeks and then every other day for the 3rd week. The rye came in okay, but this area is a little tougher than the other area because there's a lot of trees right behind it and the tree roots get under that soil and really dry it out. So this area requires a little more attention than the first area. Now for seeding. I use a handheld broadcast spreader for both of these small areas and it works great for my needs. Now the recommended rate of seed is usually 5 to 7 pounds of fescue seed per 1,000 square feet, plus a lighter layer of rye. For larger lawns, it makes good economic sense to follow that, but for my areas, I put it on a lot thicker than that. I probably put 4 pounds in this area and 5 pounds in the other small area. I don't know the square footage, but it's nowhere near 1,000 square feet. The next thing is don't forget your fertilizer. A good starter fertilizer high in phosphorus helps root development. I like to spread it a few days after I put the seed down after the rye starts to germinate, A lot of people put it down right as they put the seed down. But however you decide to do it, make sure you get that starter fertilizer down because it makes a big difference. As the fescue and rye areas establish over the years, they may not need multiple applications. But for the first few years, the new areas are going to need at least 2 applications. I like to apply the overseeding in early to mid September and then again in early October, just like I did this year. I may do a few more light rye overseedings in late October and early November just to get things greened up. Now I'll begin overseeding applications again in mid to late February and then again in March. And then I'll have a nice green lawn and that'll carry all the way through June. But after that, things get a little warm and then fescue and rye just can't stand up to the heat in Georgia. So that's the second overseeding application. This step helps your lawn fill in evenly and stay thick through the winter and come back strong in the spring. If you're overseeding here in Atlanta, don't skip this follow-up pass. If you found this helpful, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Let me know in the comments how your overseeding is going this fall. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.